Former President Trump, meanwhile, hit the midterm campaign trail over the weekend, promoting his endorsement in Nebraska's governor's race.
That's right. At a rally on Sunday, Mr. Trump defended Republican Charles Herbster against several allegations of sexual misconduct. Herbster is one of several GOP candidates hoping a Trump endorsement will mean a victory in this year's primary elections. Tomorrow will be the first test of the former president's influence over Republicans when they head to the polls in Ohio and Indiana.
CBS News Washington reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns joins us now for more. Caitlin, good to see you. As always, what did former President Trump have to say about Herbster there in that race? And what could the president's endorsement mean in that state?
Hey there, Tony. Well, the former president went to Nebraska and defended Herbster against all of these sexual misconduct allegations against him. He said that Herbster has been maligned, that he has been treated unfairly, that he is defending him against these allegations. And this is really significant because Herbster is not the only Republican candidate running this cycle whom the president has endorsed who is facing assault allegations or sexual misconduct allegations. He's endorsed Herschel Walker in Georgia, for example. He also, earlier this year in Pennsylvania, had endorsed Sean Parnell, who had to drop out of the race after allegations from his ex-wife during a custody battle of serious abuse. He had to drop out of that race. He also has endorsed Max Miller and several others in the primaries. And so he has been supporting candidates who have been accused of sexual misconduct or assault and really going to bat for them and defending them. And a lot of the candidates he's endorsed have also been echoing Trump's rhetoric, not only in that way, denying allegations, standing up against them, but also supporting the former president's false claims of election fraud. That's been a key theme in a lot of these primaries, and that's why it's going to be really important to watch how these races shake out in places like Ohio starting tomorrow.
That's right. And Caitlin, that's what I was going to ask you about, because as we mentioned at the top there's this big Senate primary in Ohio tomorrow. A lot of people are waiting to see how this will turn out. What should we know? Will this be any kind of bellwether?
Yeah, this is a really critical race to watch in the Republican primary. Ohio is a state that Trump won overwhelmingly the past two cycles. It was a state that Obama had won but had been turning to the Republicans' favor over the years. Ohio has a very crowded Republican field, and all of the candidates there were vying for the former president's endorsement. The person who got it is J.D. Vance, and we've seen that he has actually gotten an uptick in the polls, and a lot of cash has flown in his way since getting that endorsement. The president mentioned J.D. Vance over the weekend while campaigning in Nebraska, but got his name a little mixed up. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for one race. We've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed J.P., right? J.D. Mandel, and he's doing great. They're all doing good.
So J.D. Vance is the candidate that Trump endorsed. Josh Mandel is another Republican running for the nomination in Ohio. So we talk a lot about whether endorsements matter, and they do, but it also helps to get the name right, of course. So we might see Mandel try to use that in some of these last-minute campaign pitches. But this is a really crucial race to watch, guys, because this will give us an indication about whether Trump's hold on the Republican Party is still sound. We're getting an indication with this Ohio race tomorrow. There's also later this month in Pennsylvania a key race where he has endorsed Dr. Oz, and also a Republican primary in the state of Georgia for governor. David Perdue is running against incumbent governor Brian Kemp, and the only reason that Perdue is running is because he was drafted by Donald Trump, because he has a vendetta against Kemp because of the election. So keep an eye on those races. May is really critical to watch in terms of Trump's power in the Republican Party.
Yeah, for the former president, it seems like some of this is not just politics but personal, Caitlin. But let's talk about the Democrats. The New York Times is reporting that President Biden's pollster is, quote, sounding the alarm. And I don't think he means an alarm that says, time to celebrate, you're doing great on the midterms. No, these are not good polls for the Democrats. Yeah. What's weighing them down?
Well, the key issues that these pollsters found, according to the New York Times reporting, is immigration and inflation. I mean, these are subjects that are not surprising in terms of the consequences that they could have for this administration and, of course, then Democrats down the line. We've seen Democrats in really tough races criticizing the president for his immigration policies. He's lifting Title 42, and there are a lot of Democrats concerned about what that might mean in terms of the influx at the border. Inflation, as we know, is a top concern. In the polling that the president was shown, according to the New York Times, 9 out of 10 voters said that inflation is a top concern. And so this is an administration that said inflation was going to be a temporary issue. Well, voters aren't really feeling that way. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, when you fill up your tank, you know you're seeing those prices increase, and there's a question about how long this lasts. Even at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend, Trevor Noah kind of made a joke about it, saying that things are looking up. Gas prices, cost of food, everything is more expensive. That was a joke, of course, but it is really speaking to the reality that this administration is facing. So you're going to see Democrats on Capitol Hill, especially this week, try to address those issues. Talking to Democrats, they say that they want to cut down costs, but we'll see what exactly they can do and what they can get what they can support, get a coalition of support for.
Yeah, and how quickly they can do it. All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns in Washington, thank you so much.